Imagine a killer who taunted police, mocked the media, and dared the world to catch him, all while leaving behind cryptic puzzles that remain unsolved to this day. This is the story of the Zodiac Killer, one of the most chilling mysteries in American history. On December 20th, 1968, a young couple, David Faraday and Betty Lou Jensen, went out for a simple date night near Vallejo, California. They never made it home. Their bodies were found shot to death on a lonely stretch of road. At first, investigators saw it as a tragic but random crime. But just 7 months later, another young couple, Darlene Ferrin and Mike Mageau, were ambushed in their car. Darlene was killed instantly, while Mike barely survived. Within the hour, police received a chilling phone call. A calm voice confessed to both crimes and introduced himself for the first time. He called himself the Zodiac. Soon after, local newspapers began receiving letters, demands, threats, pages filled with strange symbols and encrypted codes. One message was cracked by a school teacher and his wife, revealing the killer's twisted motives. "I like killing people because it is so much fun." The Zodiac wasn't just murdering. He was playing a game with the entire Bay Area as his audience. On September 27, 1969, college students Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard were relaxing by Lake Berryessa. A man appeared, wearing a dark hood and a symbol stitched onto his chest, a circle with a cross through it. He tied the couple up, then brutally stabbed them. Cecilia later died. Brian survived, giving police one of the only first-hand descriptions of the Zodiac. 2 weeks later, on October 11, 1969, cab driver Paul Stein was murdered in San Francisco. This time, witnesses saw the killer. He wiped the cab clean of fingerprints before casually walking away. Police arrived quickly, but due to a description error, they let him slip through their fingers. And that night, the Zodiac sent another letter, enclosing a piece of the victim's bloody shirt, just to prove it was him. The Zodiac claimed to have killed 37 people, though only 5 murders have ever been confirmed. He promised more killings, boasted in letters, and mocked the world for failing to stop him. Investigators chased countless suspects. One man, Arthur Lee Allen, became the prime suspect. But no definitive evidence ever linked him to the crimes. And despite new technology, including DNA testing, the true identity of the Zodiac remains a mystery. Over 50 years later, the case is still unsolved. His ciphers remain a puzzle, his face unknown, his motives unclear. The Zodiac once promised he would never be caught, and maybe he was right. It began with a single missing woman. But what police found along a desolate stretch of beach in Long Island would uncover one of the most disturbing mysteries in modern American history. This is the case of the Long Island serial killer. On May 1, 2010, a young woman named Shannon Gilbert, an escort from New Jersey, vanished after visiting a client in Oak Beach, Long Island. Frantic, she had called 911, claiming someone was after her. She ran through the quiet neighborhood, banging on doors, begging for help, before disappearing into the marshes. Her case drew media attention, but it was what police discovered during the search that truly shocked them. While looking for Shannon, police stumbled across 4 bodies wrapped in burlap, hidden in the brush near Gilgo Beach. All 4 were women. All were escorts, and all had gone missing after arranging meetings with clients online. The discovery didn't stop there. As searches continued into 2011, more remains surfaced, eventually totaling at least 10 sets of human remains scattered along Ocean Parkway. The chilling conclusion was unavoidable. A serial killer, maybe more than one, had been hunting in Long Island for years. The 4 women found first were nicknamed the Gilgo 4, Megan Waterman, Amber Lynn Costello, Maureen Brainerd Barnes, Melissa Barthélemy. Each of them was in her 20s or early 30s. each working as an escort, and each disappeared after arranging dates through Craigslist. Other remains found nearby belonged to unidentified victims, including a toddler and an Asian male, deepening the mystery even further. For years, the case frustrated police. No arrests were made, and theories ran wild. Some believed there were multiple killers, given the differences in how bodies were disposed of. Others speculated the killer was a police officer or someone with law enforcement knowledge, since the dumping grounds were so well hidden. The case grew cold, but it never faded from public memory. In 2023, after more than a decade of fear and speculation, police finally arrested a suspect, Rex Heuermann, a Long Island architect living just miles from the beach. Investigators linked him to at least 3 of the Gilgo 4 through cell phone records, DNA, and chilling internet searches. Yet, despite the arrest, questions remain. Heuermann has pleaded not guilty, and not all the victims have been tied to him. Some believe other killers may still be out there. The case of the Long Island serial killer is a haunting reminder that monsters can hide in plain sight. For over a decade, the killer, or killers, stalked the shadows of Long Island, leaving families without answers and a community gripped in fear. And even today, with one man behind bars, the mystery isn't over. For more than a decade, young men vanished across the Midwest. Their bodies were later discovered along highways, rivers, and country roads. All of them had been strangled, and the killer, he was never caught. This is the story of the I-70 Strangler. In the early 1980s, police in Indiana and Ohio started finding bodies near Interstate 70. The victims were young men, often in their teens or 20s, many of them gay or working as escorts. One by one, they were lured away, strangled and discarded, like trash along highways and in remote fields. The method was always the same. The pattern was undeniable. A serial killer was stalking the Midwest. By the late 1980s, more than a dozen victims had been discovered. Some were found with clothing missing. Others showed signs of being tied up. Each new discovery deepened the mystery, and the press gave the killer a name, the I-70 Strangler. In the 1990s, suspicion fell on a wealthy Indianapolis businessman, Herb Baumeister. Baumeister owned a sprawling estate called Fox Hollow Farm. On the surface, he appeared successful, a family man, a business owner, but behind closed doors, he frequented gay bars, often approaching young men and inviting them back to his property. When investigators searched Fox Hollow Farm, they made a horrifying discovery. The remains of at least 11 men, burned and crushed, scattered across his land. It seemed the mystery of the I-70 Strangler had finally been solved. But before Baumeister could be arrested, he fled to Canada. In 1996, he took his own life, leaving behind a short note that mentioned troubles in his personal life, but no confession to murder. And even stranger, not all of the I-70 killings matched his methods or timeline. Some investigators believe Baumeister was only responsible for the bodies on his property. Others are convinced the I-70 Strangler may have been a different killer entirely. Today, the case remains unsolved. For years, young men were hunted and strangled across the Midwest. A wealthy man with a dark secret became the prime suspect. But his death left behind more questions than answers. Was Herb Baumeister truly the I-70 Strangler, or is the real highway killer still out there?